Yes, guys. Yes. What's good? Flicks back with another live stream. You know what it is. More Tottenham talk. And will Spurs survive the relegation? Will Spurs survive the relegation scrap? Smash the likes on your way through. I'd really appreciate it. Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm seeing a few little comments come through. I'll get on to use very shortly. But yeah, let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear your thoughts on the current situation. Not really a lot as not so much has really gone on, has it? We've still got Igor Tudor, who for me I thought would have walked by now, especially with things going on. You know, well, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. International break. There's a lot of players that are on international duty. The likes of Solanke. We just got him back. He's out with England, isn't he? Jed Spence is another one. Porra, I think, is out with Spain. We got a lot of players out on international duty. So when they come back, are they going to be back on the injury list, or are they, by some miracle, going to be raring to go and really crack on and get Tottenham away from this relegation scrap? Because look, we were only 1 point away from West Ham, and to think a month, maybe 2-3 months ago, roughly, Spurs were 9-12 points clear of West Ham. Now we're only 1 point from West Ham. It's very nervy, isn't it? It's very nervy. Some are saying, but Flicks, Tottenham won't get relegated. They're not going to go down. Why is that then? Because it's Tottenham. Look at their stadium. It's too good to be in the Championship. They're not going to go down. They got some decent players. Yeah, they'll survive. And they're not looking at the long road ahead, are they? They're not. They're delusional. Most of our squad is just average. It's just average. At the same time, you got players that are, just above average, not even trying. They don't want to be there. They don't want to play for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club anymore. Simply don't want to be there. Injuries. So many injuries again. So many injuries. And will Spurs go down? Or by some miracle, because look, a lot of people are writing, well, not so much a lot of people are writing us off, but we are the talk of the town, aren't we? Especially on the likes of TalkSport. Tottenham are the talk of the town. Right now, the likes of TalkSport, you might as well throw Sky Sports in the mix and all, but Tottenham are the talk of the town. These guys are lapping it up big time. Tottenham this, Tottenham that. Are Spurs going to get relegated? Oh, could you imagine Spurs in the Championship with that stadium? Who would still play for them? Who's going to leave? Who's going to stick with them? Massive wage cuts. Transfers. What's their starting 11 going to be like next season? Who's their next manager going to be? What's the board going to be look like? Is Enoch going to still be there? Is he going to sell up? There's all these questions being thrown around left, right and centre, and it's just like, I don't know. We do not know. As fans, we do not know. If Spurs stay in the Premier League, and yeah, it's a massive, like, how can I say it? I was going to say not so much a weight off your chest, but it's that, few moment, isn't it? Like, yeah, come on, like, we can breathe a little bit. We've scraped it by the skin of our teeth. We're going to see Tottenham in the Premier League again next season. But there's a lot of work to be done, isn't it? There's a lot of work to be done. The board need a massive shake-up. ENIC need to sell up. But are they going to sell up? Can you really see ENIC pulling their fingers out their backside and really, really backing a manager? Something we have barely seen. You know? Players, and the majority of those players need to walk, need to be sold on. That's a definite. That is a definite. A lot of players need to walk. Christy Romero, Mickey van der Ven, Vicario. Vicario's been pony, hasn't he? He's cost us a lot of games. You might as well throw Christy Romero in that mix. Van der Ven, Porro, can't really defend, can he? Going forward and crossing the ball in now and then, yeah, not too shabby, but other than that, can't defend really, can he? Cannot defend. Midfielders, Mathis Tell and Odibert. Two players who, you know, what club would go, oh yeah, we'll have them too. We'll have Mathis Tell, we'll have Odibert off you. Yeah, we'll have them. Ain't gonna happen, is it? If Spurs go into the Championship, right, mark my words, the likes of Mathis Tell, Odibert will definitely be stuck with us. Guarantee that one. I guarantee that one. Guaranteed. And yeah, they might do fine in the Championship. You never know. You never know. But at the same time, if you follow the Championship, if you keep one eye on the Championship, you will know it's one tough league to get out of. One tough league. It's very competitive. Very competitive. A lot more games compared to the Premier League. Premier League, 38 games. Championship, what, 46? Is it 46? Can someone let me know in the comments? I'm sure it's 46 games. 46 games, right? So it's very, very competitive. Very competitive. Challenging. You need togetherness. You need team spirit. Injuries cannot happen because games come thick and fast. Games come thick and fast. You need a manager, ideally, that's been in that situation before and can get a team out. You need leadership, strong players. And right now, we don't have that, do we? We do not have that. If you look at the likes of Coventry under Frank Lampard, top of the Championship, aren't they? Definitely guaranteed Premier League football again next season. But when you look at their squad, and I didn't actually know this until I was watching Sava's show, so big up Sava from Football Heritage TV. But when I was watching his stream, I think it was the one he done yesterday, he was talking about Coventry. And it wasn't until he mentioned it, I looked into it. And most of their squad, actually, pretty much the whole of their squad, they're all over 23, 24. And when you look at Spurs, they're just full of kids, aren't they? They're just full of kids. Full of kids. Like I said earlier, no leadership, no power, no togetherness. Absolutely nothing. They got nothing, have they? So Spurs have to do everything possible to stay in the Premier League. But it's a tough ask, isn't it? It's a very, very big ask going by previous performances. Getting that point off Liverpool, I really thought that changed something. You know, we see a bit of togetherness, especially when they played Atletico in that second leg of the Champions League, to even win that game as well. Like, and then we're back to square one against Nottingham Forest a couple of days later in the Premier League, and you know, that was a must win, wasn't it, against Forest? And we didn't pull it out of the bag, did we? We didn't pull it out of the bag, and we go and lose. And I said weeks before that game, I said Forest have a much better squad than us, and it proved it again. Their goalkeeper Sells, not too shabby, is he? Then you look at Nottingham Forest's back four, very, very steady. They all know one another. They all know what they're doing. All know their roles. Is it Milenkovic and Morello? You know what I mean? They all know what they're doing. And then you got their midfield, Morgan Gibbs White and Elliot Anderson, who for me it will not be a Nottingham Forest player next season. He's upped his game big time. Hudson-Odoi totally ripped Porro apart, didn't he? And yeah, and the scoreline said it all, didn't it? That day to lose again, you know, no fight, absolutely nothing whatsoever, absolutely nothing. Like I said yesterday in my stream, when Romero bombed up the pitch and he's holding the ball up, which he does quite a lot, doesn't he? Quite a lot. And he lost the ball, 2 players on his backside, falls to the floor, flapping his arms and hands everywhere, you know, ref, come on, free kick, you know, no, counter-attack. And what's he do? He stands there. And that's our captain. That is our captain. So even though he wants out, he's not really doing himself any favours, is he? Because rumour has it that Atletico Madrid are pulling out of that situation of even buying him in the summer now. So he's not doing himself any favours whatsoever, is he? So, you know, if we stay in the league, who walks? Who gets sold on? Who stays? Who's our manager going to be in the summer going forward? Permanent manager? Is the board going to have a massive shake-up? Because it needs a massive shake-up. And obviously the big one is Enoch, Lewis, the Lewis family. Are they going to stick around? Most probably will. But like I've always said, and I'll say again, until that day comes when Enoch sell, nothing will ever change. And it won't. Unless by some miracle they actually wake up from La La Land and go, oh shit, yeah, okay, yeah. Last season, 17th. We were lucky there, weren't we, boys? But this season, nah. We just scraped it by the skin of our teeth. How are we gonna resolve this situation? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Oh yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll back the next manager, Pochettino. Yeah, we get Pochettino in because you know we all remember what Poch done. Worked wonders, didn't he? Had Harry Kane, Sonny, Moussa Dembele, solid back four, solid keeper. The full works. I'm sure we could do that again. Yeah, I'm sure Poch could do that again. That's what the board need to do. Poch for me has unfinished business, but he needs the backing. Needs the backing, doesn't he? Needs the backing. But you know, there's that saying, it doesn't matter who the next manager will be. It's the same cycle time and time and time again. Same situation. I know I repeat myself quite a lot, like a lot of YouTubers do when it comes to Tottenham. But since the Poch days, Jose Mourinho, Conte, even they couldn't work miracles because the board wasn't backing them. You know, and here we are. Here we are. It's just the same, and until Enoch sell, Spurs will simply not move on. Unless again by some miracle they keep doing what they're doing. Bit like when we had Poch, because yeah, a lot of luck was on our side. We had Kane who come from the youth. We got Heung-min Son when he was what, 22, maybe 23. Very, very promising, but broke into the Premier League, and he just cracked on like he was always in the Premier League. Dele Alli from MK Dons. Again, comes straight up from League One into the Premier League. Bang. It's like he's always been there. And we had that solid partnership, didn't we? Alderweireld, the Tongan, know each other inside out from their Belgium days as well. Playing for the national side back in the day. They knew each other like the back of their hands, as they say. Danny Rose from the youth, Carl Walker, phenomenal. Lloris, and Moussa Dembele from Fulham, if I remember rightly. Very underrated. Very underrated. Then we had a couple of younger kids, didn't we? Other kids, Harry Winks, Ollie Skip from the youth. From the youth. Very, very promising. But I felt with them two, they were, how can I put it? There was relied on quite a lot, wasn't they? A bit like now with Archie Gray, who for me, I know he gets a lot of stick. Archie Gray gets a lot of stick, doesn't he? But you can definitely tell there's something in there. There is something in there, and he's in years to come, he's going to be a phenomenal midfielder. Again, with Archie Gray, he is not a player to throw his toys at the pram, especially when you think about how old he is. He's only 19 years old, and he had to play at centre back, left back, right mid, left mid, in his natural position again. Then he's thrown out and put on left back or whatever, all over the place. Been all over the place. But he never threw his toys out the pram, and he just cracked on with it, didn't he? Especially last season under Ange. Ange was a good one for throwing him all over the ship, all over the place. Part of this season when we had Thomas Frank. So he gets a lot of stick. You know, I know. Any of you know Lubo? I've seen a lot of him on the Spurs 5, etc. With Sabra and everyone. He rates Archie Gray as well, but a lot of Spurs fans, even neutral fans, don't really rate him. But like I said, there's a lot of potential, and in years to come, he could be a phenomenal midfielder. But at the same time, we can't keep relying on kids, because look, it's kids playing with kids, isn't it? It's when a few months ago, I'm watching other people's streams, etc., and a lot of Spurs fans. Some might call me a hypocrite right now, because I said it once or twice before, but a lot of Spurs fans have said, well, if we can't get a tune out of players like Mathis Tell, for example, put Williams Barnett there, put Byfield in there. Well, yeah, it's easy. You could easily throw the kids in, but that's not the way to go about doing it. Especially where Spurs are right now. We're in a relegation fight, and we're having to rely on kids. At the same time, to make matters a lot worse, we have no leadership. We've got a captain who doesn't want to be at the club anymore. We have a captain who doesn't stick to his line. He comes out into midfield. He does what he wants. You can't have that. You know, like I said before, and I'll say again, the January transfer window was absolutely shocking, wasn't it? To get rid of Brennan Johnson and to not even get anyone better than Brennan Johnson, who, let's not forget, was our top scorer last season, wasn't replaced. So why did we sell him on? Why did we sell him on when he wasn't replaced? Instead, we get that young kid from Hearts. One for the future, maybe. But what about now? We need now. We need players now. Conor Gallagher, like many of us have said that the only reason we got Conor Gallagher through the door was because Benton Kerr was injured. But even when Conor Gallagher, when Conor Gallagher has played, how many times has he been in his natural position? Bit like Archie Gray, all over the place, all over the place. João Plina, right now he should be our captain, and I'm not the only one that said that. He puts in a shift, doesn't he? He puts in a massive shift, and if we stay in the Premier League, that is one player we have to make permanent next season. João Plina, phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. Outstanding player. Outstanding. Outstanding. But here we are. Here we are. We're having to rely on kids. And yeah, I know. Rumour has it that James Maddison could play some part of this season. What do you make of that one? Kulusevski is, again, nowhere to be seen. I know some of you might have seen, and I see it a few days ago, of him limping. Now, what do you make of that one? You know, I know Sweden played the other night, so he was out back in the boys. But, you know, is he going to be playing for Spurs again? Bentancur is rumoured to be coming back. Mohamed Kudus, again, rumoured to be coming back. So there's quite a few boys that are rumoured to be coming back after the international break / FA Cup. Again, yes, we need them, but are they going to be match fit? Are they going to be literally raring to go and crack on and help all of us get out of that relegation scrap? Because the games we have left, I honestly cannot see where the next win is coming from. Honestly, I can't. I really can't, guys. If any of you, you know, in the comments section, in the comments, with the remaining games left, are we going to beat Sunderland? Are we going to beat Brighton, Leeds, Villa, Chelsea, Everton last game of the season? Who else have we got in that? You know, I honestly cannot see where we are going to get the next win from. Because let's not forget, West Ham play before Spurs do in the next round of Premier League fixtures. They have Wolves. So we got to pray that Wolves win that game. Because you know what will happen if West Ham win? We go into the bottom three before we even play our next game. And that is a lot of pressure. I know the pressure's on already, but just have that thought in your mind. West Ham have won that game against Wolves. Spurs are third from bottom. We are in the relegation zone. Spurs have to beat Sunderland. They have to get something against Brighton the weekend after. And are Spurs going to do it? Because, again, I really can't see where the next win's coming from, guys. I really can't. I really can't. Right, I'm going to get onto the comments, guys. I'm going to get onto the comments, guys. So, yeah, smash the likes on your way through. Get subbing. If you've not subscribed before, I'd really, really appreciate it. ENIC out. Yeah, man, ENIC out. ENIC out all day long. ENIC out all day. Definitely. Rodney Martin. Big up, Rodney. All about the players. Yeah, exactly that. All about the players. All about the players. The majority of the players need to go. You know. We got players that don't want to play for the club anymore. We got players that are just simply not good enough for the club. Average players. We need a massive shake-up. A massive shake-up. Not just on the pitch. Board. Everything. From top to bottom. From top to bottom, we need a massive shake-up. Rodney Martin also saying, please be patient. We are not going, is that meant to say anywhere right now? As in down to the Championship, do you mean? Is that what you mean? Funny little comment here from Guy from Elaine. Breaking news, Tottenham Hotspur have approached Labubu to become Spurs' next manager. Labubu has declined to comment on the situation and we continue to monitor. Yeah, funny one. Funny one, that one, Labubu. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, Labubu, yeah. Of course. Of course, yeah. Anyway. See that list you just reeled off? That's exactly why they are talking about Spurs. Well, I'm just simply talking about the current situation we are in right now. It's as simple as that. I know Talk Sport, Sky Sports, they're all jumping on the bandwagon. You know, some might say Spurs are a big club. Some might say Spurs are still a top six club, even though for the past 2 seasons we have been in a relegation scrap. But yet we're a top six club. We are a big club. Yeah, we got a fantastic stadium, a beautiful stadium. But to see that in the Championship, you couldn't write it, could you? You really couldn't write to see Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and that stadium in the Championship. It's like, what the fuck? Surely not. Surely not. But at the same time, everyone, it's been a long time coming. It has been a long time coming. From the Poch days, we have slowly crept down the table, haven't we? Ambition, neglect. Know what I mean? Jose, Conte, winnable managers, but Spurs don't get the backing, and that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who comes in, they need the backing. And this is Enoch. 25 years, 2 trophies. That's all they've got to show for it. And yeah, a couple of decent players in here and there over the years, like Gareth Bale came from the youth, thrown out on loan time and time again. Yes, but he come back to Spurs and he was given that chance. And look at him now. Look at him now. All-time Tottenham goal scorer, doing wonders at Bayern Munich. And to think if he wasn't given that chance at Spurs, what would have happened to Harry Kane? You know? But we need more of that, time and time and time again, coming from the youth. I know we just can't rely on the youth, obviously, but it just breaks my heart to think what we once had to what we've got now. Not one single player in our current team would play over that Poch team back in the day. Not one player. Not one player. But here we are, innit? Here we are. 48 when you count league. 48 when you count one League Cup and Family Cup games. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Palhinha, Gallagher, Romero, Richie, etc. Kids. What do you mean kids? Question mark. What do you mean kids? Question mark. Well, look, the majority of the Spurs squad, you know, um, how can I put it? Archie Gray, 19. Odibert, Till, you know, more players to add on to that. But at the same time, there's no leadership. There's no player with a bit of muscle, but a bit of physical passion. We don't have that. Big up Tonkingham. Big up. Big up. Another comment here. Yeah, Poch will probs get you top 8 next season. Should you get in the playoffs? Well, yeah, rumour has it, even if we do go down to the Championship, he will manage Spurs in the Championship. Now, can you imagine Pochettino at Spurs in the Championship? If that's true, then yeah, I'd have it all day. I'd have Poch at Spurs all day. But look, at the same time, it boils down to the owners, the hierarchy, Enoch, whoever steps in, the manager needs to back in. They need the full support. I know they've spent money. They have spent money, but it's the way it's been spent. They've gone fucking so tits up with it. They really have. They really have. I know we got lucky with Mickey van der Ven. I know a lot has gone on since then. Thomas Frank being thrown out, players being injured. So it's like Van der Ven sulking. Clearly doesn't want to play for the club anymore. He's given up. He's given up because there's no energy. No energy. All the energy's been sucked out of that club. There's no energy. There's no positivity. Absolutely nothing. You've only got to look back to the past couple of times this season. Christian Romero has spoke out on Instagram, hasn't he? On social media about the hierarchy. Twice he's done that this season. We're all seeing this. The players are seeing this. They're all feeding off that. This is what I mean. There's no energy. There's nothing. No good vibes. Absolutely nothing. They've all had enough. They've all had enough. They've all given up. That's what a lot of people are saying. They've all given up. They've all given up. But at the end of the day, it breaks my heart because, yes, they're being paid thousands week in, week out, but they're going to walk. They're not going to stick with us in the Championship. Me and you are the ones that have got to stick through the bullshit. We have to stick through the pain and hope that Spurs, by some miracle next season, if we are in the Championship, get out of that shithole. First time of asking, because I really cannot see it happening. I honestly can't see Spurs getting out of the Championship. If that's the case, I can't see it happening. I really can't see it happening. Because you need your leaders, you need a bit of physical, a bit of muscle. And we don't have that, do we? We don't have any of it. We don't have any of it whatsoever. Big up Ghosted LDN. I rate him for an 18, 19-year-old. Just not our first team. We're meant to be a big club. Well, yeah, look, I do rate Archie great. I really do. I really do rate him. But at the same time, it doesn't help where he's been thrown here, thrown there, blah, 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 blah. And again, at the same time, you've not got quality around him. He needs to feed off that. You can't feed off something that's not even there because we don't have that. We don't have that, do we? Did Spurs fans rate Johnson or happy to see him go at the time? Look, with Brennan Johnson, I know Brennan was a funny one. He was a funny one. He wasn't good at tracking back. He wasn't good at defending. But what he was good at was getting you a goal. Hence why he was our top scorer last season in the Premier League. But what makes it worse? You've got rid of someone that was our top scorer last season, and he was not replaced. He wasn't replaced. Wasn't replaced. Wasn't replaced. And yeah, a part of me did rate him because he was a grafter going forward. He was good at nicking you a goal when it was needed. And right now, we don't have that. We've not had that, have we, this season? We've been crying out for a goal scorer. But yeah, I know. We obviously we can do a lot better. But we don't have that. So we are stuck with someone like Brennan Johnson, aren't we? Obviously, well now, but you get what I mean. Can't see you beating Sunderland. Depends what Brighton turn up. If the good version turn up, with your home form, could be tough. Well, look, first things first, Sunderland. Look, we just about got a point against Sunderland, didn't we? Spurs just about got a point. And it's all doom and gloom, isn't it? I know there's a big break. We've got a big break now. We've got an international break, FA Cup. So what? Two bit, about 2 weeks break, isn't there? Until our next game against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, by the way. Fingers crossed we get Kudus back. Possibly Bentancur. A James Maddison, maybe? Who knows? Who knows? I know we got Bergville back as well. So we're slowly getting players back. But the big question is, are they going to be match fit? Are they going to be able to play a full 90 minutes, physical, fight for that ball? That's the big question there, isn't it? That's the big question. At the same time, Sunderland, they've got a fantastic squad, haven't they? They are fighters. Look how they played against Newcastle the same week. It was last weekend, wasn't it? The same weekend Spurs played Forest. They were absolutely phenomenal against Newcastle. And they've got a leader, a real leader. Ex-Gooner, isn't he? Granit Xhaka, a real leader. And Spurs, we don't have that. We don't have that. So, going to Sunderland, right now, especially with Tudor still there, right now, I can't see Spurs going there and even getting a point. I really can't. I really can't. Brighton, again, Brighton are no pushover. On their day, they could beat anyone on their day, can't they? So just those two teams alone, I can't see Spurs getting anything. So put those two games aside, that leaves 5 games remaining. The clock's ticking, isn't it? Where's the wins coming from? Where's the points coming from? The 3 precious points coming from? Some might say that Spurs only need 2 wins out of those 7, but obviously it depends on Forest, West Ham, on their results. But I honestly can't see where the next win is coming from. I really can't. I really can't. I really can't. And it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. It really is. It really is. But it's going to be tough. It will be very, very tough. It will be tough. But it goes back to Tudor again. You know, Igor Tudor, I know it's only been 5 games. Some might say still early days. But look, those 5 games he's managed, he's played players out of position all the time, and he's never stuck to that same 11, has he? It's always been, you go there, you go there, you go there. Oh, you play this week, blah, 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 blah. There's no consistency. And that is one key Spurs need right now, consistency. And we haven't got that. We've not had that. We don't have it. We don't have it. We don't have it. So if Tudor's our manager going into the Sunderland game, you definitely write it off. Definitely write it off. Because I'm sure he'll go back to a normal back 3. He'll probably put Porro out of his natural position. Gallagher, you might play Gallagher out on the wing instead of playing in his natural position. You know what I mean? I just hope there's a massive shake-up between now leading up to the Sunderland game. I really do. I really do. We are not a big club or a top 6 club, as I've yet to see the outlet one. Yeah, exactly. There we've got a Leeds fan in the house. A Leeds fan. Being there in the Championship, if you go down, you'll win a lot of games. Better than losing most weeks in the Premier League, which is horrible. Going to games expecting to lose, but hard league to get out of. It's a very, very tough league, I know. Very, very tough league. A very, very tough league. Very competitive. But I've said all of the above before. Leadership, muscle, quality wingers, goal scorers, a solid defence, a solid keeper. Experience. We are definitely going to need experience if we go down. We're going to need a couple of Championship players in that mix who have been there, got teams up. We're going to need that. We're going to need that. And right now we don't have any of that, do we? So it really baffles me, and it actually makes me laugh when Spurs fans, even neutral fans, say, if Spurs go down, I don't worry, you'll bounce straight up. you'll win every single game. Every team, possibly a Lincoln City, coming up from League One, they're all going to come to Spurs. Yeah, it's going to be like Wembley for them. It's going to be a massive day out. But Spurs will win every single game. Piss over them. Don't worry, you'll be back in the Premier League. Like, fucking wake up. Wake up. This is Spurs. Look at the Spurs situation right now. Like I've said, we have no manager. Half the squad don't want to be there. The board need a shake up. Enoch needs to sell. Blah, 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 blah. That squad is going to go into the Championship. It's going to be ripped apart. And I am very, very scared. Very, very scared to see where Tottenham can go from there. I'm very, very scared. Very scared. I'm scared now, obviously. I'm bricking it. I'm really bricking it. To see my Spurs get relegated, something I thought I would never ever say. Never ever say. But the real Spurs fans, even neutral fans that, you know, got a bit of, you know, a bit of noddle, bit of knowledge, and you know, they're not in that bubble. They are seeing what's going on over the years. They have seen what's gone on over the years. Neglect, ambition. It's declined each time, every season, hasn't it? Especially last season, played with fire, didn't they? And I've said, and big up Danny from Hotspur Hood, because he put it to an absolute T. And a lot of fans were jumping on his back saying, what the fuck you on about? Well, winning that Europa League simply papered over the cracks. It got everyone, even me for a little 5 minutes, forgetting where Spurs finished. Fall from bottom, 22 league defeats. But we're champions of Europe. We've won the Europa League. We've got Champions League football next season. And obviously we're in the summer. I'm thinking, right, yeah, okay, yeah, we won the Europa, we're in the Champions League. This is gonna get players in like Semenyo because we're in the Champions League. We're gonna get a Grealish. We're gonna get, you know, whoever. You know what I mean? But you know, obviously, rumour come out when Ange Postecoglou got the boot. He come out and clearly spoke his mind. And apparently, he wanted Semenyo or a Semenyo type, and the hierarchy turn around and say, "Oh, don't know about that. Look elsewhere. It's going to cost too much." And that's it. That's it in a nutshell. They don't want to. Obviously, they spend, but it boils down to the wages. They don't want to pay the wages. And this is where Spurs can't compete with the Arsenals, the Liverpools. Maybe they can, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just Enoch. Enoch have no ambition to really push this football club to the highest. Back to where we were. Entertaining. Top four. Guaranteed top four, top five. Challenging for cups. And we're a long way from that. Think back to where we were back in the days again with Poch. We were miles above the Gunners. Absolutely flying, wasn't we? Now look at Spurs. We can't even compete with Arsenal anymore. It proved that, didn't it, this season? I mean, leaked in so many goals against them. We can't even compete with Aston Villa, Newcastle, Fulham. Might as well throw Everton into the mix. Bournemouth, those teams there. We can't even compete with them. So we're now dropping further back. We're further down the pecking order. We are rock bottom. Spurs as a football club are rock bottom. Let that sink in, guys. Seriously, let that sink in, because, like I've said, a lot of Spurs fans are seriously like saying, but this is Spurs. We're our top six club. We're our big club. We're not going down. Wake up. seriously wake up, because like I said, and I'll say again, I really can't see where the next 3 points are coming from with those 7 games left. I honestly can't, guys. I really can't. I really can't, honestly. Right, where was I? Where was I in the comments? Where was I? Where was I? Okay, yeah, we got another little funny comment here. Romero not physical. Jeez. Well, he's not though, is he? He's not. He's not. He might be for Argentina, but for Spurs, I'd rather have Kevin Danzo there. Kevin Danzo doesn't put a foot wrong, does he? Puts on that Spurs shirt and he just gets on with the job. There's nothing fancy about him. Just gets on with the job. Romero on the other hand comes out of his position and he drifts out. When the opposition are on a counter attack, he just walks back. He doesn't chase the ball. Puts in silly challenges. You've only got to look at the amount of red cards he's had. That alone is ridiculous. But then some might say, but Flicks is a defender. Yeah, and what? Look at Mickey van der Ven. Before, obviously, he went to shit. He was, winning that ball each and every time. Winning that ball to an absolute T. But obviously, things have swirled round within the squad. And it's all bounced off, isn't it? Mickey van der Ven clearly don't want to be there. Look at him on the pitch, putting in silly tackles. Something we have never seen from him. But Romero, if Christian Romero was to walk tomorrow, I really couldn't give a flying fuck. Honestly, I really couldn't. I really couldn't. At the end of the day, I want players that have got fight, passion, togetherness. Players that want to play for the club. I don't want players at the club that are going to throw their toys at the pram when they feel like it, to not track back, not defend, not fight for the ball. You know what I mean? Rodney Martin, big up. We are a big club. Well, by back in the long run. Love you, Tottenham. Yeah, exactly. Paulinia loves a tackle. Too hard to say. He ain't physical either. Paulinia's not physical. Okay. Well, each to their own, as they say. Each to their own, isn't it? Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that's silly. Paulinia's not physical. Okay. Poch will need to back him. Of course he's going to need to back him. But then again, it doesn't matter who the next permanent manager is going to be. Whoever it is, they need the backing. And it's proved that over the years, hasn't it? Since Poch, with Jose, Conte, etc. They need the backing. They really do need the backing. Where am I? You should offer a manager an 18-month contract and sack him. Even if we stay up, it's cheaper than going down. Time to be ruthless, Coys. Well, pretty much in this day and age, 18 months is just, that's 9 times out of 10. That's a long stay, isn't it, for a manager in this day and age? 18 months. Off you go. Next, please. To see a manager stay longer than that, it's like, wow. Because it very rarely happens nowadays. Very rarely happens. But, to say, to offer a manager 18 months and then sack him, even if we stay up, that's a bit silly. Because surely, if that manager's doing fine, keeping that team steady, got the team to get, they got a bit of togetherness, all of the above, what I've been saying, all of the above, energy, etc., then surely you would keep hold of that manager. You wouldn't get rid of him. Especially you know, I know some might say, well, if so and so signed a 4-year deal, and then you sack that manager 2 years later. Oh, so yeah, you still got to pay him off because there's two more years left on that contract. So yeah, I get that, but at the same time, like I said, if that manager's doing fine, why would you get rid of him? Why? Don't think 2 wins for Spurs will be enough. Heard a few Spurs channels saying that, but think it's optimistic to think 2 wins is safety. Look, I only said 2 wins. Spurs need 2 wins, but obviously it depends on the Nottingham Forest and West Ham scores as well. If their results go tits up, then yeah, we're laughing. But yeah, 2 wins, 6 points. It's still not enough. I know that. I get that. I get that. As I said yesterday, we will beat. What's that? As that meant to say, we will beat Sunderland. I honestly can't see it happening. I really can't. I really can't. Sunderland are a very good side, and they have something we don't have right now. Uh, Other comments here. You will stay up. No reason to worry. West Ham will go down. Well, let's hope so, innit? Let's hope so. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, AW. I hope you're right. I hope you are right. Because if Spurs go down, there is no way back up. There is no way back up. Guaranteed. Guarantee that. Guarantee that. But yeah, man. Here we are. Here we are. Look, if you've just joined my live, please smash the likes, get subscribing to the channel. If you haven't done so, I really appreciate it. Please share the channel as well, man. Honestly, please share it. Please share, guys. Please share. Um, Read it again, Flicks. I'm saying Paulinho is a physical player. Let me go back to that. Where was that comment? Where was that comment? Bear with me, guys. Where was that comment? Where was that previous comment? But you're saying, yeah, Paulinho loves a tackle, but he ain't physical enough. Well, in my opinion, he is physical. He's very physical. He's a grafter. He's definitely a grafter. Definitely. Definitely a grafter. Definitely. There is a reason. Sorry, there is a reason why Ange and Thomas Frank has been your managers because they are both yes. Oh, here we go. Yes, men. No elite manager will come to Spurs because yeah, okay, yeah, because they want better players. Look, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Look, yes, men. Yes, men. Yes, men. Yes, men. Look, don't get me wrong. Of course, the likes of Frank, maybe Angie, in some ways, a so-called yes men. But let me give you this scenario, right? Let me give you this scenario. You've been offered a job. Now let me think. Let me think. Factory job, for example, right? You've been there a couple of weeks. You're slowly learning the ropes. And your boss comes up to you and says, hey, how you getting on? And you say, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Get in there, get in there. you know, but you're not gonna, and he asked you to, he asked you to say, oh, can you help out so or do you mind doing this or whatever, right? But that's in work time. Yeah, that's in work time. You're not going to turn around and say, "Oh, nah, I don't feel like doing that." No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. So with Frank, with Frank and Ange being so-called yes men, it's bonkers. It's bonkers. It's bonkers. I know. Yeah, when we had Jose in, Jose and Mourinho. This is another good example. Jose and Mourinho, Conte, right? Before they even come to Spurs and sign that contract, they knew 100% what they was walking into. But they still signed on that dotted line. And obviously, there's a lot of money involved. We get that. But they still signed on that dotted line, knowing full well they are not going to get the proper backing. But they still signed. I know Conte spoke his mind. He did. Jose Mourinho did to a certain extent, from what I remember. So at the end of the day, we're all yes people. We're all yes people in certain ways. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, sack him if we were waiting for Poch in the summer. Well, look, obviously we have to get rid of Tudor. Igor Tudor has to walk. He has to walk with mutual consent, yeah. And then, in my opinion, we get a Harry Redknapp and a Tim Sherwood, or maybe bring them both in, have them combined. Get this Tottenham piss poor side over the line, and we can all go, wow. We can all breathe now. We can all breathe. And then the board, Enoch, seriously sit down and then go, right, we can't have a third season in a row where we see Spurs in a relegation scrap. How are we going to sort this mess out? I know what we'll do. Pochettino. He worked absolute wonders, didn't he? Absolute wonders. But when he needed the backing, did he get it? No, he didn't, did he? Let's get Poch back. Let's get Pochettino back. And we seriously back him. But yeah, of course, look, I would love Poch back because he has unfinished business, but is he going to get the backing? And again, whoever comes in, are they going to get the backing? That's what it boils down to. Are they going to get the backing? We are Spurs TV. Big up. Big up. I've never seen you before. I've never seen you before. Get subbed into the channel, man. Get subbed into the channel. Rodney Martin, at the end of the day, we will always love Spurs. Of course. Of course. Me and you, we are the ones. We are the ones that stick with Spurs through thick and thin. We are the ones that go through the pain, not the players. They come and go whenever they please. You know what I mean? They're getting their thousands week in, week out. But we're the ones at the end of the day that have to go through the pain. Big up Tottenham, Dr. Tottenham Therapy. Big up, mate. How you doing? How you doing, Tottenham Therapy? Rodney Martin also saying, please, we are Tottenham, super Tottenham from the lane. Lang out, Enoch out. We love you, Spurs. Exactly that. Exactly that, guys. Exactly that. But look, before I do go, because I've got to go, look, I've done just over an hour now. So big up each and every one of you in the chat. If you sub to the channel, I really do appreciate it. I really do, really do appreciate it. But please share the channel and all. But look, before I do go, my question to you, with the remaining games left, look, I'm just going to get the fixtures up. So I know we've got Sunderland next, Brighton. Right, so Sunderland next, Brighton. And then we got another tough one, another relegation scrap against Wolves at the Molineux. Right? And then we're going into May. 4 games left. Aston Villa, Leeds, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And then we're back at the lane and this could potentially be Tottenham's last Premier League game for quite a long time against David Moyes' Everton. So you tell me in the chat, where are Tottenham getting their next 3 points? And are Spurs getting out of it? So put a yes or no to Spurs being relegated or staying up. And where's our next 3 points coming from? I want to see that before I go. I want to see that one before I go. Just quickly. We drew against Wolves and win at home against Leeds, 4 points. Well, that's not enough though, is it? 4 points ain't enough, especially if West Ham are still on our arse by then. You know what I mean? It's squeaky bum time, isn't it? Squeaky bum time. We have to beat Wolves. We have to beat Sunderland. All these teams we should be beating anyway. But right now, in this current situation, I honestly can't see where the next set of 3 points are coming from. I really, really can't. I really can't. I really can't, guys, and it's very, very scary. It's very, very scary, and I am, like I said earlier, I'm bricking it. I really am bricking it. I really am bricking it, and I'm facing the fact that we are going to be seeing Spurs in the Championship next season. But of course, I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong, and we get to see Spurs in the Premier League next season, and by some miracle, we have a massive shake-up, not only within the squad, but the board. Enoch, that'd be a very, very big miracle. Enoch, if they were to either buck their ideas up or they actually wake up and go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we're sell the club, let's sell them on. But at the end of the day, whilst Enoch are there, nothing will change. Nothing will change. It'll be the same cycle, time and time again. Be the same cycle, guys. It's as simple as that, isn't it? It's as simple as that. Simple as that one, guys. Right. I'm going to call it a day there, guys, because I've got to shoot. But yeah, I'll big up to each and every one of you in the chat if you've just been watching along. But please, on your way out, please smash the like button. I'd really, really appreciate it. But yeah, as always, up the Spurs. Enoch out, and I will see you lot on the next video. Take it easy. In a bit, guys.